Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is Friday, and the President of the United States of America, the Nobel Peace Prize winning president, scumbag Barack Obama, has now officially launched attacks in Iraq. Airstrikes in Iraq, as predicted in the June 14th video, 2014 video I put out just 2 months ago, predicting that I had a strong opinion that the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, who's been actively destabilizing this part of the world, actively destabilizing Syria, arming the rebels, buying off the rebels, the terrorists on the ground in Syria to destabilize Bashar al-Assad's regime, so that all of this spills over to Iraq, and ISIS can only grow stronger, and then gives America a reason and a precursor for an attack. And it's exactly what's happening now. Not what we're predicting anymore, it's actually what's happening. And it's amazing, people will call people like me a crackpot. They will call people like me a conspiracy theorist. In fact, go back to the June 14th video and read some of the comments. And what's amazing to me is what is actually predicted will actually happen in real life. You know, I can tell you all day long, folks, that World War III is approaching, that we're already engaged in it, that when the history books look back at it, they'll already tell you World War III has begun. Notice how the ceasefire in Gaza has ended. Notice how Obama is limiting his airstrikes in Iraq at this very moment. You know, I find the bullshit machine that makes up the mainstream media absolutely laughable and ridiculous, calling these airstrikes targeted, calling these airstrikes limited. Like there's anything limited about murdering other people, whether or not they're terrorists on the ground or not. You know, the criticisms will be, well, that ISIS is a very bad terrorist organization. Yeah, just like Al-Qaeda, just like the funded, sponsored Al-Qaeda front that was created and manufactured by the United States government, the USA is responsible for people like Osama bin Laden, for crying out loud. Read your history. Just like they are responsible for the gross destabilization effort in the Middle East and what is taking place right now and has largely been taking place over several decades in places like Iraq. And now Obama is launching targeted airstrikes. The Nobel Peace Prize winning president. Yeah, the guy that withdrew. Yeah, he withdrew troops. Now he's striking. Now he's dropping bombs. See how the president isn't any different from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel with his targeted, limited invasion of Gaza and the murder of innocent men, women, and children. Again, nobody's defending terrorist organizations. Nobody's defending Hamas, Al-Qaeda, or ISIS. But when the United States is responsible for the creation of these terrorist organizations and terrorist fronts, you need to know your history, folks. You need to know why we're there. You need to know why this has all been made possible by the American propaganda machine. And now we're bombing the shit out of Iraq. I mean, how many civilians died in the last invasion? You know, estimates range from upwards to the millions of innocents dead. Could you imagine if that happened in our home country here in the United States of America? Could you imagine if millions of people were just slaughtered because we had a terrorist at the White House, per se, and Vladimir Putin thought he needed to arm insurgents on the ground? He thought that he needed to arm the Tea Party. He thought that he needed to arm the Patriot movement. Could you imagine as a result of that, millions of innocent civilians were slaughtered? And it's exactly what's happening in these parts of the world. That is a humanitarian crisis. The egregious acts committed by the Obama administration and Benjamin Netanyahu are what should make you throw up, is what should make you sick to your stomach. You know, the difference between me and a lot of quote-unquote commentators or prognosticators is I haven't switched or changed my tune in over 5 years. I told you the exact same thing. This is World War III. We're engaged in a global conflict. This is all about the dollar losing its value as the world reserve currency. And this has been engineered not just by the banking elite, but by the warmongers and the warmonger-in-chief that makes up the Obama administration today. Obama's guilty, Bush before him is guilty, and these corrupt politicians and Wall Street bankers at the tippy top of our society are all guilty. They're the problem, and it's only going to get worse. You'll be fighting this next world war, folks. You'll be the ones suffering. You'll be the ones paying for it. Your kids will be asked to fight and die for these scumbags. Well, I suggest you hold off until our leadership, until Obama has his daughters fighting on the front lines, until Benjamin Netanyahu has his children on the front lines, until Hillary Clinton has Chelsea freaking Clinton on the front lines. I say you tie your hands behind your back and say no. I say you give them a big F you. I say that instead of fighting back, we proclaim peace and we take back the country that is rightfully ours. 1776, bitches! I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard hitting it in your face. And click the link below to support our sponsor.